محمد دائما عودنا على كل ما هو جديد في عالم هذه الرياضة. دعونا نتابع محمد من خلال المحطة القادمة.
Hello, Jiu-Jitsu fans all over the world. We are back with a new set of guests at the World Professional Jiu-Jitsu Championship. This time, we're going to talk to some referees that you probably know from watching on TV all the time. First, we have Alexandre Nascimento, Deputy Director of the Rules Committee in the UAE JJF. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we also have Rosalinde Ferreira, also from the Rules Committee at the UAE JJF. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, before we start talking about the serious stuff, let's talk about you as a person, or you are as people and practitioners of the sport before you even became referees. Give us a brief background. Ladies first. Let's start with Rosalinde.
Yeah, so I started Jiu-Jitsu since I was 4 years old. I started because of my father. So my father is my master in Jiu-Jitsu. And then I was watching like my mother competing, and then I started. And so on, I keep practicing. I competed a lot until 2012, until I moved to UAE. So I competed like I was champion. I was European champion, Brazilian champion, and then a lot of competitions over there.
What about you, Alishan?
I started a little bit late. I started with 18 years old in '99. So I started Jiu-Jitsu with Judo, parallel together. And my brown belt started more to practice box and Muay Thai. I had some MMA fights. So after this, when I got my black belt, I competed a few local competitions, and start to be referee there on my region. So I'm referee since 2010.
You guys mentioned you starting late and you starting early. Before we start talking about the rules and everything like that, I'm interested to know, what difference does it make? You started in your late teens, you started earlier. For people who are getting into the sport right now, whether they're teenagers, kids, adults, what can you tell them about your experience?
So what I can tell, like my piece of advice for them, you can start anytime. Like once you are young, or even though you think that you are old, so there is no a specific age to start Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu is for everyone, so you can start anytime.
Yeah, to get a high level, actually, to be a high-level competitor, it's better, of course, you start early. So when you become adult, a black belt, you already have a lot of years of training, so it's easy to become a high-level competitor. Of course, Jiu-Jitsu is for everybody. So if you start late, if you start old, there's no problem, because there's not only competition in Jiu-Jitsu. You can train for self-defense. You can train only for become healthy, to keep the body a good physical condition. So you can choose which path you can run, in Jiu-Jitsu life.
Okay, and let's talk about the World Pro now. You two have been involved with this event for a long time. We celebrate 10 years of this event. It's a pretty big deal. You can see the arena. It looks beautiful. In your experiences, how did this event affect you? Like, your thoughts on this event in general, Rosalinde?
Yes, so I have a lot of expectations, because there's a long time that we are take part of this huge event. And it was a dream since Brazil to be part of that. And now that we are working on that, it's really something amazing. So actually, to me, I'm very proud to be part of that and to be refereeing, to be in this big show.
Did you ever compete in this event?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So there is a chance you'll compete.
Yeah, let's see.
What about you, Alishan?
Yeah, this is one of the biggest events of the world. So this put not only put the staff, put like us, we're there working, put the fighters, everybody like in a magazine, all the worlds watching us, put Abu Dhabi in a map of the world, in a sports world, so all the worlds watching us. So it's an amazing experience to be inside there and working. It will be hard days, we work a lot, but at the end we will look back and say thanks for this opportunity.
Is your experience like Rosalinde as a referee? You have not competed in this event yet?
Because when I arrived in Abu Dhabi to work, I already was refereeing in Brazil. So when I came, there wasn't competition the next week. They said, come, they invited me to work. So since then, I never stopped. So I work maybe 100% of the competitions here. So always trying to improve the referee team here, and now it's maybe in the future, but no time to compete anymore.
I'm sure. Okay, now since we got into the refereeing talk, let's talk about what does it take to become a referee? That's the question. What does it take to be a referee? I know you need to be a black belt or maybe a brown belt at the minimum.
Yes.
But I need more like information. Any intangibles for becoming a referee?
Yeah, by the rules, you must be at least brown belt. Why? Because you have a large experience as a practicing jiu-jitsu, as competing. So you understand the game, how it works. So after this point, you start to study the rules. When you have a minimum knowledge in the rules, you can start to try to be a referee. Usually we start with kids, you know. But after to become more experienced, you must, you know, some things that you cannot you cannot just teach, because you must keep calm there. You must think fast in the rules. You must memorize all the rules, you know, because you have less than 1 second to have some decision. So one side, you must understand the rules, study a lot, and have a great experience. And the other side, you must be a calm person, you know, with, how can I say, you are working on pressure, especially in this kind of event. All the words are watching you. You have coach, you have fighters, everybody, you know, supporting their teams. Everybody want to win. So you must keep focus on the fight. This is the most hard thing to teach. It's hard to teach. Normally, the person have this inside, you know.
What about your idea about refereeing?
Yeah, my idea, actually, I totally agree with Alexandre, because if you are not focused on that, and you have to think fast, you are every time you're working on pressure. So if you don't have the knowledge with you, and also you don't keep you calm there, for sure, so you're gonna make mistakes. So the first thing is to train as well, like to be at least brown or black belt, study the rules, keep studying and keep training, because and then jiu-jitsu is developing every day. So we have to keep on the same page as the athletes, you know, to see what they are doing, to keep like, okay, what is allowed to do, what is not allowed, because a lot of techniques, they are improving them. So
that's actually true, because I mean, I would like to send my regards, I'm sure, to Alex Paz,
yes,
the head of the rules committee in the UAJGF. He always used to tell me that he always tells referees that they need to keep training.
This is very important.
Because you said, because the evolution of jiu-jitsu is daily. Every day there's something new.
Yes.
So what you said is very important. And
we train every day, almost every day, of course. At the end of the training, we have many competitors training together there. So at the end, everybody's trying to create a new technique, to develop a new sequence. They ask us to watch what they think. So it's not only here, everywhere. Everybody is trying to do something new that can pass by the rules, you know. So if you are not training, if you are not together with these competitors training, will be, you know, out of date. So that's very dangerous for a referee.
And that comes to my next question about how difficult is there a type of exam, and if there is like an exam in order to get a certificate or a degree in a refereeing course. I'm sure you guys attended a lot of seminars and courses. How difficult is the test?
actually depends on the knowledge of the person and if they study. Because every time the first question that we are used to do to them, it's, did you ever read the rules book before? A lot of people, really black belts, oh, no, never. So how can you discuss or try to have an exam for something that you never ever open a book, you know?
So they base it on their performance on the mats. So they think they know everything just because of competition, right?
Exactly.
Yes, but the course is, we have part of the day is just theory. We read the book, we discuss the rules. Other part, we wear the gi and show everything rule by rule on the gi on the mat. In the next day, we have a written test, normally 20 questions, normally simple, nothing special. And at the end, we have a video test with 4 fights, competition fights, real life here, just put on a screen. And everyone have to, you know, be the referee, write the score. So at the end, we check if they are right or wrong.
And on a personal level, if you can remember, the first time you entered a mat as a referee, what was the feeling? Let's start with you.
My feeling, I was completely scared to be there.
Do you remember which event it was in?
Yes, actually it was a regional. Because we started like a
In Brazil.
In Brazil, yeah. Actually, I started a long time ago, since I got my black belt in 2001. And then once I stepped there to be referee, I was, oh, what am I gonna do here? And now the fight will like run so fast, but the feeling in the beginning it's like you're a little bit scared. But I have someone to help me outside, so this keep me calm. And then from 2001 till today, I'm keeping refereeing and training for sure.
You remember your first time?
Was an original competition in South Brazil, and there the gymnasium was very small, so the audience, coach, everybody stayed too close to the match, so it was impossible. If we have one small mistake, they was able to jump inside the match, so it was hard.
That's also interesting. How do you feel by refereeing in a small arena versus a big arena like this? Like in a small arena, I bet you hear a lot of things from the crowd.
Yeah,
here, maybe a little bit less. Maybe you don't even hear it.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. So that's I talked about before about the focus of the referee. If you're really focused on the fight, you almost don't listen nothing. But if you start to pay attention, start to see what the coaches are telling, maybe this can get inside your head to take your decisions. That's danger. So you have to forget the audience, forget everybody, and keep focused on the fight. This place here is perfect. You listen a little bit, but not too much that make you lost your concentration. Sometimes it's important, of course, because sometimes you have your mistake. Imagine you're refereeing all day. Sometimes you sleep for 1 second, you can lose some movement. And maybe you can listen maybe someone that you can trust, to go back, get back in the fight.
And that's in terms of your first experience. What's the hardest part of being a referee? If you had to choose one thing that until today, that thing gives you like makes you nervous or gives you goosebumps, what is it?
Actually, nowadays, to me, it's sometimes to explain the rules for people that sometimes they ask you, why did you do this or why did you do that? And they don't understand why you score for that person or not, once they don't understand. This is, to me, actually, it's the difficult thing. It's a difficult thing to explain once they don't know. They don't know the rules exactly itself.
Is it the same?
Yeah, that's why Jiu-Jitsu is really hard to be a referee. Actually, there is a culture inside the Jiu-Jitsu lifestyle for the people. The players, everyone, they avoid to study deeply the rules. That's make our job hard. If everybody understands very well the rules, everybody knows very well, so our job will be easy. We will avoid complaints. The level of the referees will become higher. But we have this culture of the Jiu-Jitsu that people don't study too much the rules, don't get deep, and the rules change a lot because the Jiu-Jitsu is very dynamic. That's make hard our job, actually.
Do you blame the individuals, or do you blame because there are many organizations and there are many rule sets, and these competitors are world-class athletes and they compete in every single organization. Who would you put the blame on? That Jiu-Jitsu is kind of not, there's no like a universal rule set for Jiu-Jitsu, or is this a fighter's or a player's responsibility to be committed to every single rule set and know every single rule set?
Actually, Jiu-Jitsu, it's how can I say, there are a lot of techniques. That's the thing. So sometimes, as I said, once Jiu-Jitsu develop a new technique, can come to another competition, then could make your job hard because of that. Because Jiu-Jitsu is very dynamic, as Alicia said.
Most organizations follow the same rules. A small difference, but they follow the same. The problem, the way that some organizations, the big organizations, deal with how graduate one referee should be easier. Should be more how can I say, more accessible for all players. Have a referee course, but this is hard for us. That when you start, before even I live in South Brazil, I got my referee course every 2 years. Someone goes there to have. So it was hard. It was not accessible. Nowadays, a little bit easy because we have YouTube. You can discuss. You can watch the fights to see what happened. But even is a little bit hard to have this contact with the persons that deal with the rules. You know, we should have more referee course.
More recently, specifically this season, I think it started, the instant replay, or they call it the eye of the
eagle.
Eagle, yeah, right. Do you support that? Do you like that idea?
That's amazing. Amazing.
Does it help you as a referee? It also goes with your issue of having these people complain about some.
Exactly.
And if you have that, then
it helps a lot. And really, what a nice tool for us to, as a ref, to have this, like the eagle eye there, and then you can come backward, or so just to help who is inside if needs. Depends on the situation that they are.
Yeah, really depends. It's not any situation that you can change.
Yeah.
It must be exactly the same moment of the movements happen.
So not after the end of the fight.
No. Because imagine.
So who makes that decision? You or the competitor? Like, when do you go back to the?
We have 2 referees on the video.
Okay.
And we understand when some situations was a little bit we're not sure, maybe the referee was wrong. We can quickly put back the fight, have a decision, we discuss, and send the decision to the referee, and he have to follow us.
So the judges outside can actually change your decision as a referee on the mat?
Our decision is up from the mat referee. Even with 3 referees, there's 2 referees from the TV. The decision is come up above.
That's
but
groundbreaking.
Must be at the same time. Because imagine I give 2 points wrongly for you. What do? You stop the fight. You keep that 2 points you are winning wrongly until the end. So if I wait until the end to change the result, we're not fair with the other player.
Yeah, because you made him fight the whole time. Yeah.
Here we have logistics, we have cameras, we have everything to change the result in 10 seconds. So we have qualified referees to work on it. So that's easy. The problem is implement this in every competition. It's not easy.
And every mat.
Every mat, yes.
That means only the main mat gets that privilege.
Yeah.
Right? Is it being used in this event?
Yeah, we're going to use.
For the black belts or every single fight on the main mats?
We was in the king of the match in the finals.
Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, now let's focus more on your role as head referees in developing UAE and regional referees, Asian referees. Can you talk to us about the plan of, or how are things going so far with that?
Yeah, it's a hard job to implement the referee culture especially in Asia, because Jiu-Jitsu it's new here. Don't have a culture of Jiu-Jitsu for a long time, but we see the efforts of every federation. Everybody's working hard. They ask us all the time, they send email asking a referee course. We have our compromise here, we have our job here, so we cannot leave anytime. But maybe once a month we are teaching somewhere, even in Abu Dhabi or in Asia. So we already have a good team. We have been preparing for some years for these Asian Games. We're already not like the best team of the world, but sure, in a few time we did the best, a great job with this guy. So for sure we'll have a good team for the Asian Games. So that's just, how can I say, just a start. Year by year they improve their level, so we become huge for sure.
Is it a problem because the number of black belts, maybe even brown belts in this region is not very high? Do you compromise? Do you say, okay, we're gonna let blue or purple belts start getting into refereeing, maybe at a kids level or something like that, like, because there is not a lot of UAE and regional referees, especially when it comes to female referees?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in this case, we have to analyze each situation, each country, to see, as you said, so we don't have like a lot of brown and black belts, especially for female. So what we are doing is we are trying to bring the graduated ones to have referee course, to train, and then they keep used to that.
Also, another important thing, when you see like when you referee the fight, and we have some instances. A lot of people come from different martial arts, right? And they compete in jiu-jitsu, whether it's from wrestling, sambo, or any other sport. Sometimes they come and compete in a level that's beneath them. Let's say they're blue belts, but they compete in white, or vice versa, any other belt. Is it the responsibility of the referee or the academy, or who is responsible for knowing that this guy is not really who he says he is as a level?
Actually, it's clearly written in the rules book that if you have you are a black belt on judo, you have experience in MMA, wrestling, or sambo, you cannot start as a white belt because it's danger for someone who's really starting. So what I do, first of all, we have a hard work in the waiting. We check the registrations first, and when you see in the waiting some people, you know, with broken ears, something, we call it, come here, let me see your name. We go in the Google. Maybe normally we find his name in some competition, so we have proof actually to if he was not so if he wasn't honest telling that he should not be as a white belt, we would find some proof that show that he could not be there. And the second step is in the match. We have competing and fighting and training for years. We can see clearly if someone has some knowledge in judo or wrestling or sambo or MMA, and he is fighting on the white belt. So what I do, the referee stop the fight, call the referee director. He watched the fight a little bit, and he have decision to disqualify that fighter, saying that he should not be a white belt because he have some background in another fight.
Yeah. We already did this a lot because you can see clearly, as Alexandre said, their skills, like judo skills or something like it's clear for us, and we must stop this.
Last year we got one guy with 26 MMA fights, fighting on the waiting line.
As a white belt?
As a white belt. Another one, no, many black belts of judo, but we started this job maybe 3 years ago. And this was before last year. Last year we didn't have much problem with this.
Okay.
Because they already know that we are very tough, we are very straight with these rules.
Speaking of rules and how tough the UAE JJF rules are, when did you come here to Abu Dhabi, start working here, Alexandre?
2012.
So you were here in 2013 when I think one of the biggest shocks happened in the jiu-jitsu world. Everyone was talking about it online. They were like, how could the UAE JJF do this? Keenan and Miao in the final.
I remember.
A final, and it's a double DQ in the final, so nobody receives a gold medal. For a sport that's on live television, can you tell me more about that day? That day it happened. It happened again with Herbert Santos and Honorio.
Honorio, yes.
2016 maybe?
Yes.
2016,
yes.
yeah. So it's a common thing. And I think the UAE JJF are probably the first organization to tackle negative play or stalling, let's say.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that day in 2013?
Yeah. Actually, the rules is clear. Everybody knows. The problem was before the time, any referee was, was encouraged, or how can I say, was afraid to put in.
Especially a final.
Yeah, especially a final. Normally, what the referees do, they close their eyes a little bit, they keep going a little bit, but that's not the rules. If you go straight on the rules, the referee was right. So he was supported by the rules. He was right. Same Ebert and Honorio. They start just pushing each other. Any of them would like to pull to guard, just pushing. The referee count on the watch, the stalling time correctly. 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4th time, they was out. So it's something that Alex always talk in our referee meetings, to be tough in the rules. If you follow the rules, nobody will say nothing that you did wrong or because it's written there. Now we change the rules again. 10 seconds, the stalling time, but it's counting on the scoreboard, so it's more clear for everybody. So the referee count. If no one attack, no one get progress the fight, stop the fight, and penalty. So in both cases, the referee was right. They just follow the rules. No one can complain nothing.
At a high level, did any of you two have to stop or double disqualify any competitor in the black belt division? Did you get to do it?
For both, in this case, not happened to me, but just for lower belts, a lot actually.
What about you?
Me too.
Yeah.
So you weren't involved in the Keenan, Meow, or any of
No,
the...
no. If you have to do, we're gonna do. But it's a very special case. See, we remember maybe 2 times that's happened.
And you mentioned something very important too. You mentioned from 30 seconds stalling time, now it's 10 seconds.
Was 20, now 10, and counting on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and so can you tell me, how did this process come about? Is it every year you guys meet and decide, okay, this is a problem, let's do this? Like, when did you change it from 20 to 10?
Yes, last year. The point was in federation was talking about how to keep jiu-jitsu more attractive, to the fight don't stay so boring.
Especially in 6 minutes, right?
Yes, 6 minutes. So normally what they do in a high level, they do some advantage or 2 points and stop. They try do everything to don't fight anymore. So we put down the time, the stalling time, 10 seconds. That's so fast. It's not so fair. So to have like a compensation, we are counting on the scoreboard to everybody see, because before the referee realized that they was stalling, the referee start to count. Sometimes even he can't just watching the fight, the scoreboard. Nobody understand what happened. Now to be clear, so the referee will say fight, giving them the command to start to move and start to count on the scoreboard, so everybody see. The coach, the audience, and the fighter. If he doesn't move, so it will be his problem. But now the rules it's faster and more clear.
Yeah.
It's an amazing rule, actually.
Exactly.
It's a very, very nice rule. Kind of like wrestling as well. I think they have that 10, I don't know how many seconds, but a person who has a penalty needs to attack, or else the other guy gets the points.
Yes, yeah.
But in jiu-jitsu, it's much like, let me say, more attractive to me. Maybe because we are jiu-jitsu fans, but you know, it's. I certainly think that when a person sees that 10 seconds, they try to. But again, we see on many instances, even when we do on commentary, we see some guys when they see the 10 seconds, they just stand up, and then it gets cancelled. Do you guys, as soon as there is any movement, you stop the count, or it has to be something?
Depends on the thing. He has to go forward to the fight. For example, he has to try to do something, but not just move. Okay. Imagine that they pass the guard and got the side control and just keep moving. We're not gonna consider this. So, for example, we're gonna consider an attack or something. If he going forward to the fight, okay, and then we're gonna deduct this time.
Okay, so we have warned everyone coming in. There's no excuse for anyone with the new rules. Besides, they need to. I think you even shared it on social media. It's a good time to read the rule book before you come and compete. What was the funniest incident that happened to you as a referee? Who wants to start?
Alicia.
The funniest.
Funniest.
Trying to think.
Too many competitions.
Yeah.
Funny. The kids fights. Always there's some surprise from the small
5-year-olds.
Yeah, all the time. Last time, one little girl start to cry a lot. She didn't want to be there, you know. So, but it was very cute because they are very small. The other one trying to help her. So with the kids, always there is some funny thing happen.
That's also interesting. We need to talk about that too. The difference between how you guys referee kids fights versus, I'm not even gonna say adults. Let's say juniors and teenagers. There's a lot of differences. You guys put your hands under their backs for, you know, inadvertent slams. Many things, like you don't let them finish the submission completely.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about, you know, how you guys approach that?
Yeah, so actually we have to protect them, to keep their integrity. So, for example, if there is an arm bar, we notice as a fighter, for example, and it's our job as a referee to stop it, not before, but before they lift, for example, the hip. And then we stay very close to them, to go there, we can talk to them, to make sure that they will not hurt.
We're much more coach than the referee, actually. Yeah. We stop the fight, we can talk with them, we're more flexible. The point is, they must be a happy time there without get any hurt, so that's the main point.
Okay, we're almost done here, but I do this with every guest I have, since it's the World Pro and it's 10 years. If you had to choose the best male competitor in the history of the World Pro, who do you think it is?
Felipe Pena.
Felipe Pena. Why?
I think he has really nice skills as a jiu-jitsu fighter. So he knows really how to play guard very good, everything. So to me,
Felipe.
I'm a big fan of him.
He's the last open weight champion in World Pro history, and he's going to be here hopefully to compete.
Hopefully.
What about you?
For me, it was Bochecha. He had amazing, epic fights against Rodolfo. So it was a great moment here in the World Pro for many years. And he was the big winner, you know. So for me, he was the big name of this time.
What about female?
So female, we have a lot. The last time that I really liked to see was Ana Vieira, the sister of Rodolfo. She fought really, really well.
You think she's gonna do well this time?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfectly, for sure.
What about you?
Many
Female.
big names.
Yeah.
But the fight of Mackenzie against Gabi was epic. So
That was your favorite fight?
I think was my favorite fight for female for sure. Because
But who's the best female competitor in World Pro history for you?
history was Mackenzie was one of them, sure.
What about your favorite fight? Male or female?
Male or female? Now, I think, let's see, this fight of Mackenzie, I think.
And Gabi?
Actually.
A lot of people mentioned that fight.
Yeah, because
Even though there wasn't much into it, it was one penalty in the beginning for talking with the referee, I think.
Yes.
But many people choose that fight because maybe they were shocked at the
Yes.
unbeaten for 8 years since brown belt. So
And nobody was expecting this. And especially that the referee was completely right there. And then, so...
for us that was here and the audience, everybody, you know, everybody supporting and singing was a nice.
it was very loud.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what about, we talked about how to treat kids in referee, but I forgot to ask, para jiu-jitsu, now that's a tough, you know, rule set. I mean, can you explain that? Because nobody understands the divisions in para jiu-jitsu. Do you guys have at least an idea of, I think they are separated into classes, right? Class A, B, C.
Yeah, we have been working hard with the Para Jiu-Jitsu Association.
Okay.
They are working more than us because they are giving information and we're just trying to classify and put in a paper. But still, it's still is a beginning. It's the rules is just beginning now. So they just separate like by class, as you said. People with don't move the legs, you know. People with handicaps. What else? Special needs.
Yeah.
Each class we have take care in some aspects, you know. For example, special needs we don't let any submissions. Just you know, just they trying to take down some points and that's it. For people that don't move the legs, they start sitting. The first one that lay down, we consider like a takedown, so it would be 2 points. But the rest is, the rules is basically the same. But just take care more with the athlete there. Same with the kids.
Have you refereed any
Yeah.
para jiu-jitsu fights? Okay.
Yes.
And is it the same when they compete with in the normal divisions?
No.
You
so
treat
they
them
follow
as
the normal. Yeah,
okay.
the normal rules.
Okay, that's amazing. That's it. So if there is any last messages you would like to give to anyone before we end the show, let's start with you, Rosanette.
Yes, just keep reading the the rules book. So we are here. Anything that they need from us, they can come to Alex Paz and to Alexandre and I, for example, regarding the rules. We are here to help. That's it.
Yeah. Anytime we're here to help. We have an email in the UAJJ website, rules.committee, uajjf.org. So you can send an email with videos, with anything you want to ask about the rules. We're going to answer quickly.
I thank you very much for explaining to us everything regarding the rules. I learned a lot of things, honestly. The questions I've asked today are questions I consider to be mainstream questions because a lot of people want to learn about the rules of jiu-jitsu, and I get asked a lot of questions about the rules. So hopefully, people watching the show are gonna, you know, be enlightened with what they heard today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, we have reached the end of our show today. The Abu Dhabi World Professional Jiu-Jitsu Championship has started. Of course, when I say it has started, there are many events that go on. that are in conjunction with the World Professional Jiu-Jitsu Championship, such as the military event, the national service events, kids, etc. But the actual event is going to start from the 24th up until the 28th. In the meantime, we'll be here every day meeting and interviewing different sets of people. Thanks for watching always. Have a nice day.